In November 1942, 5 women are taken to Adolf Hitler at the Wolf's Lair, one of whom is to be chosen as his secretary. Traudl Junge is selected. The film then jumps to Hitler's 56th birthday on April 20, 1945, when Junge is awakened by the sound of Soviet artillery in the Führerbunker. Generals inform Hitler that the Red Army is just 12 kilometers from Berlin, but against their advice, Hitler decides to stay in the city. Reichsfuhrer SS Heinrich Himmler tries to negotiate a surrender with the Allies, unbeknownst to Hitler. Meanwhile, Dr. Ernst Schenk attempts to gather medical supplies, and a group of Hitler youth, including a boy named Peter, fights against Soviet tanks. Hitler discusses his scorched earth policy with Albert Speer, who tries to convince him to spare the German people, but Hitler states that the Germans do not deserve to survive. General Helmuth Weidling is summoned to the bunker and, instead of being punished, is appointed commander of Berlin's defense. Hitler believes that the Waffen-SS can still hold out, but he soon receives news that Steiner's forces have failed. Enraged, Hitler erupts into a tirade, blaming his generals and soldiers for the failure. He finally admits that the war is lost, but he prefers to die rather than abandon Berlin. In the bunker, Hitler discusses methods of suicide and distributes cyanide capsules. Eva Braun and Magda Goebbels write their farewell letters. Goebbels, in despair, continues to believe in victory, despite the reality. Peter, the young soldier, returns home only to find that his parents have been killed. The situation in Berlin rapidly deteriorates, with civilians and soldiers attempting to resist, while Hitler loses his grip on reality. Upon discovering that Himmler tried to negotiate surrender, Hitler orders his execution, as well as that of Fegelein, who was found trying to flee. When Weidling informs him that Berlin's defenses are on the verge of collapse, Hitler insists that General Wenck can still save them, though everyone knows it is impossible. On April 29, Hitler dictates his will and marries Eva Braun. He refuses to surrender and forbids his officers from surrendering. The next day, Hitler and Braun commit suicide, and their bodies are burned in the Chancellery Garden. Meanwhile, Joseph and Magda Goebbels poison their 6 children before taking their own lives. Krebs tries to negotiate a surrender with the Soviets, but it fails. With the fall of Berlin imminent, Junge manages to escape the Soviet lines, accompanied by Peter, the young soldier.